What's up, you guys? Bryan Felder here with another episode of Adventures of an Entrepreneur. It's the latest podcast to help people that either work for someone or they own their own business, or maybe they're an entrepreneur and they're just trying to scale their business. And so what you're going to hear from is different episodes will have different guests that come on and talk about their story, talk about their successes, talk about their challenges. And today I'm super excited to bring on James Walker with Alcova Mortgage. So get ready, you guys. Strap in. It's going to be a ride for sure. It's almost like Nelly. If you want to go and take a ride with me, this is how this episode's going to go. So James, what's up? What's up?
What's up? What's up? Good afternoon.
I am super pumped you're here.
We can tell.
Awesome. Have you ever had an espresso?
I have not.
So never?
Maybe once.
Never ever? So
Not a coffee guy.
I was given an espresso today, and to be honest, I've had them a couple times. This one, I think my heart is palpitating right now, which is kind of crazy because I don't even know how to spell palpitate. I just like saying palpitate.
I think somebody gave me double shot espresso one day, and they said, this probably shouldn't be your first coffee, but I drank it anyway.
It's never good because I've never seen, if you want anyone that's the most laid back, most relaxed person I've ever met, is James Walker.
That might be me.
Which is amazing. And we're going to have some fun today. Real quick, have you ever heard of the band Stick Figure?
I have not.
So Stick Figure, I just also got introduced to today, which is freaking crazy. It's a reggae band. And I like reggae.
Yeah,
you definitely have heard of Bob Marley.
I believe I have.
For sure, a couple times. But James, tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us your background. Where'd you grow up? Where were you?
Grew up in Alexandria, Virginia.
Okay.
Yep. Great place to grow up, close to Old Town and Mount Vernon, and going up and down the GW Parkway and exploring and coming home when the street lights come on type of deal. It was a good time.
So you're a big Michigan fan.
Michigan, go blue.
So I don't understand the tie-in between Alexandria, Virginia and Michigan. Bring everyone to speed with that real quick.
So I was the last of 7, and I was the only child born in Virginia. So my siblings were born in Detroit. And I spent a lot of my summers in Detroit getting shipped around between aunts and uncles and cousins and stuff like that. So always grew fond of Detroit and Michigan and rooted for Michigan because my dad did, that kind of thing.
So were you upset that last weekend when the Commanders beat the Lions?
No. I mean, was a Redskins season ticket holder for over 20 years.
True.
I thought it was the Lions' turn. They were ready and was looking forward to the Commanders' future. But yeah, I'm excited for them, and I'm hoping that they take care of business against those dirty birds this weekend.
You think they got shot?
Of course. They're never out of any game. I figured they had a shot against Detroit, but I didn't expect that.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people were, for sure.
Yeah.
So from Alexandria, you went all the way through high school in Alexandria.
Yep. West Potomac High School.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. What happened after high school? Where were you? Where did you live?
What happened after high school? Well, during high school, I worked for Fairfax County through the Park Authority. I worked down there at the Mount Vernon ice skating rink. At the time, that's where the Washington Capitals practiced. So it was a good time.
It's kind of cool.
Worked full time during high school, and as soon as I got out of high school, instead of going to college, I took a full time opportunity with benefits with the county. So yeah, kind of worked my way around Fairfax County, probably all parts of the county. 11 years with Fairfax County before I dipped into the mortgage business.
And so what was the transition from the county to mortgage? Like how'd that happen?
I would really say it was really, had my first son at an early age, and my wife was also a county worker. She had all the benefits, and I just wanted to kind of scrap and make some more money and provide a better life for my family. And so thankfully that she had that, I was able to go do my thing and build a career in the financial industry. One of my brothers who was in the car business for many years got into the mortgage business and said there may be an opportunity here, and I was lucky and was able to hang on. So
you've been in the mortgage business since how long?
Since 2000.
2000. So you've seen different markets for sure.
Tons
of different things.
Yeah, in different roles. I started in the underwriting and the operations arena, which really served me a huge benefit as far as knowing the backgrounds as far as eligibility and things like that, so that when I did get in the sales side, I was able to kind of really provide, I think, an extra benefit to my customers by really knowing the guidelines in and out and kind of preparing them and setting the right expectations.
So really, again, the technical experience was really good. Then you can go ahead and really relate it to your clients and help them pursue whatever it was. So as a mortgage lender, like whether they want to buy a house, the services you offer is buying and refinancing, correct?
That's correct. But also more than that, I'm an advisor, and I want to show people a path to home ownership. Not everybody, when they talk to me, is at that point to where they're ready to buy a home. They may want to, but when I show them a different path, sometimes it's a process that could take 6 months or a year, or sometimes the path is, hey, we're going to do a temporary mortgage program to start. This is how you guys are going to get into the house. But then what we're going to look to do in 6 months, a year, is we're going to put you in this type of program. So again, educating the clients and having a very knowledgeable background on the guidelines and how things work.
Well, it's kind of cool if you think about your story, where grew up in Alexandria, went to work for the county, was working a 9 to 5, I would think, 9 to 5.
Something like that.
Yep. And then said, you know what? I got a stable home. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to branch off. I'm going to go ahead and pursue some dreams. Not a lot of people are like, ooh, let me step out and take that leap.
Sure.
Why then? What made you pick like 11 years? And I'm like, okay, now
scary.
It's time.
It was scary. You know what? It's weird, and I'm sure with everybody it's a small thing. But during that period, one of my brothers had bought the house that I grew up in, and and my first son was a toddler, a couple years old, and this is gonna sound weird, is I wanted sidewalks for my kids. And man. I was like, I want them to grow up in a neighborhood that has sidewalks and this type of environment. I had such a great childhood. So I just yearned to do more and make more money. And I felt like I kind of hit a limit with Fairfax County. I started with them so young, and I worked my way up, and I just felt like I had plateaued. I just wasn't getting that next opportunity that, maybe I deserved or not, but still, regardless, I kind of hit my plateau. So I was ready to get after it. And, anybody that's self-employed or working 100% commission, you're going to get out of it what you put into it. And man, I dove into it hard, and I spent a lot of hours and tried to build up my reputation and my client database and my business partners. And, you remember all the marketing meetings and the things that we used to do. It was networking. It was so much fun. But, that's the process that it takes if you're going to be successful in this industry.
Well, when you run your own business, it's about the grind. And it's like you grind early on when you just get into your business, because one, you're trying to learn as well, right? Like as you launch into your own business, it's not like, okay, I may have some skills, I may have some expertise, but I really now need to know not only how to like leverage my skills and expertise, how do I run a business, right? And it's like, okay, I can bring in a lot of money, but I can burn a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And one thing that I love about you, Jay, is you are very thoughtful with your money and how you invest it. You don't spend your money, you invest your money. And I think your background is the reason why you made the transition from I'm working for the county, I'm a county employee, to I'm going to start and get into my own entrepreneurial position and role, is because the why was there. And so I think that's really important, is that we have to have something that triggers our why, and our why has to be great enough for us to say, I'm going to stop safe. I'm going to stop being comfortable. I'm going to take a leap of faith. And you were able to go ahead and do that. And you've been super successful. How long have you been in the business, the mortgage business?
Since 2000. So
25 years.
Almost 25 years. And I can tell you that whole time that I just worked as hard as I could and let the chips fall where they may. And the reason I say that is I never once looked at a paycheck. I never looked at a commission report.
That's awesome.
Never once. I mean, I looked at my bank account,
Of course.
But,
we all do.
I never, I just worked as hard as I could and let me try to build this thing up. And, I try to tell people and some of the loan officers that I have mentored is, you're trying to build a huge snowball, or however you want to, put it. But eventually you want that ball to start rolling on its own.
That's right.
But you've got to put a lot of effort into building that. It's just not going to roll by itself. That's not how it happens.
You got to build that momentum.
You do.
Speaking of, you said chips. Let the chip. What kind of chip? What's your favorite chip? If you're going to say like a chip.
What's my favorite chip?
I'm not going to lie.
My favorite chip, I'm not going to lie, is kettle cooked. So
kettle cooked?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have pegged you as a
If
kettle.
I had to go specific brand, I'd probably go Cape Cod. Yeah.
Wow, he went Cape Cod, kettle cooked. Flavor or no flavor?
Oh, it's got to be flavored. Come on, man.
What kind of flavor?
You can't be that basic. You can't just go with plain chips.
Some people like I can't do plain.
You know what?
Like barbecue, like sour cream and onion.
I like some sour cream and onion, some barbecue. I like all that. Jalapeno, you name it.
You know what? Beth and I saw a movie last night, and it was called one of them days.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's hilarious. And they were talking about this. There was one scene where this guy was at a drive-thru and he was like, "Can I get some jalapeno biscuits?" And we started laughing. It was hilarious, but
Yeah.
I don't know how I got to the chips and the biscuits but
Because I said jalapeno.
and you were talking about chips and all that, but bringing it back, like you talk about momentum, and you're 25 years and you're still active in the business.
Yeah.
You still want to serve. You still want to have impact. You still want to do good
More than ever.
things. More than ever.
More than ever. Your focus changes after, once you're in a career for 25 years. But, it's a different kind of grind for me now is I've got a good database of clients and I want to serve those clients and those business partners to the best of my ability. I do. But I also now want to mentor, the next generation of loan officers that are coming in. And I look forward to doing that, just as much as I do serving my clients and my partners.
So you talk about clients and how you serve them. Like what? So are you just helping like a certain segment of the housing market with a mortgage, like a first-time home buyer, or who are your clients?
Everybody, man.
Like
everybody.
Who's everybody? Like
everybody. So it can be second-time buyers. It can be those veterans. It can be those that are low income. The ADU programs and silver lining and stuff like that for the people that can get into those programs in Fairfax and Loudoun County. We cover all the bases in regards to home financing, even those that are out of those boxes, whether it be hard money loans or bank statement loans or bridge loans and things like that. The good thing with my relationship with Alcova is we can branch out and do just about any type of transaction.
What's your most favorite? Where do you get the most joy? What kind of client? What kind of buyer?
I would say the biggest joy is the first-time home buyer because they really need somebody to guide them, to show them that they're just not a number, which I think people are treated that way at certain, maybe larger companies. And that's what's important to me is holding their hand from the start to the finish of the process. I may tell them things that their realtor Bryan may have told them or their title agent may have told them, but still they're going to hear it and they're going to know what to expect along the way. And that's important that, they're kind of flying in the blind. They've never done this before. They tell people, hey, we've never done this before, and people just do their thing. Well, I think that's one of the things that separates me is I build that bond with them. I build that relationship with them, and it's not just 9 to 5, and they're not just a number. It's going to be nights and weekends and holidays. And, I always stress that, there's never a question that isn't important, right? You're a first-time home buyer. You might think it's a dumb question. You might think you're bothering somebody. No question is insignificant when you're in that case. And I want them to not be able to just confidently refer me to their friends and families and business associates, but I want them to be confident, like, no, you have no idea, like James is really going to take care of you. And I think that says a lot, right? That's the biggest compliment you can get.
For sure.
Is getting a referral from somebody. And then, that means something to me, right? So if that client's going to refer somebody to me, I'm going to treat them a certain kind of way, right?
Well, not that because that person put their name to you,
right.
to them.
Now they got skin in the game.
For sure. Well, and I also think there's something to be said where, in our business as a real estate agent, a mortgage lender, a title professional, we do this all day, right? Yep. This is our everyday. We do this in and out all day. We know the market. We're in the market. We're working our business. We're doing all kinds of stuff. And sometimes I think we forget that people are not buying houses every day. It's not like they're not even buying houses every year. And in most cases, they're not buying them every 5 years. Like it takes 6, 7, 8, 10 years. Sure. And so it's such a big deal because it's not like buying a pair of shoes or buying a car and so, being the ultimate professional as you are, you will listen more than you talk. And then you identify the different options and then give the clients options and let them make an educated decision. I think what I've seen in the past with some people is they're like, this is the best program for you. You need to do this. And they don't look at anything else. And if we're going to go ahead and not only serve the client at the deepest level, but also build a referral-based business, we have to serve people as if they're our family, as if they're our brother, our sister, our parent, our kids, and take the time to really identify how to serve them at the deepest level and then be there after. I think one thing that I love about you, James, is you will stay in touch after, and not just with like an email blast, but someone calls you, you're not afraid to pick up the phone.
Not at all.
And I think that is something.
I look forward to those calls.
Right? It's an opportunity to like connect and reconnect and deepen the relationship. And so what would you say your biggest challenge is? If you're going to look at the past 25 years, you went off on your own, you got into the mortgage business. What would you say your biggest challenge was then, and what is it now?
Well, right now it's interest rates, right? I think interest rates is a huge factor. I think if we saw interest rates go down, it would help the whole industry, because what it's going to do, it's going to allow more people to sell their homes. I think too many people are sitting on mortgages with lower interest rates, and it doesn't make any sense for them to downsize per se and have a more expensive mortgage payment.
For sure.
So there's a lot of people that are just waiting for rates to go down to sell their house. I think we've got plenty of people that are ready to buy, and a lot of these buyers, they're perfectly fine with where interest rates are. They understand that this is where they've kind of been for the last couple of years, so they're aware of that. But that pool of homes available to them is just very slim. So
we need more inventory.
We need more inventory, and I think in my world, what's going to lead to more inventory for you guys is that interest rates going down. That's going to help it.
And you think that will happen sooner rather than later? In the next year? Next two?
I don't know. I sure hope so. I would say, I always like to say this, the forecasters that I respect the most, and there's only a couple really good ones, they tend to say that rates are going to go down. But, I think the magic mark is we really need to hover around that 6% range instead of that 7% range. I think the consumer could really adopt that and be a little bit more comfortable with it on both sides, sellers and buyers, as, 6% range would.
Well, I think you look at it, we're in January, it's 2025, new administration, there's all kinds of stuff going on. There's all kinds of changes about to happen. You look at different programs that you all offer, like a 2-1 buy down, where people can get into a house and then look to refinance later, and really encourage that home ownership, because there is some really advantage to owning a house from either the tax perspective, from owner equity appreciation. There's just some, you can call it your home and you can customize it any way you want. There's some really cool stuff. What was the challenge back then? What was if you were gonna say your big challenge, learning the business, getting in, taking that step, what was your biggest challenge?
Yeah, at the start, the biggest challenge was networking, right? Connecting with business partners, and having the consumer connection. So a lot of the things I did when I was younger were sports leagues, gyms, associations, trying to put yourself out there and getting to know as many people in the world. One of the first sales trainers I had just gave me a real good piece of advice. It's everybody in the world should know what you do. I mean, everybody you come in contact with, you see the same lady for coffee every single morning. Does she know what you do? You see the same bank teller every time you go into the bank. Does she know what you do? And so that kind of really hit me hard. And just, the biggest thing with the first 5 years was getting out there, making a name for yourself, so that, people could identify with you and the company that you were working for at that time.
It's funny you say that. So when I was actively producing hardcore, everyone knew that I was a real estate agent. Mm-hmm. Everyone knew. I saw a house to a Burger King drive-through lady.
Right.
Right? I saw a house, everybody gets gas at the pump.
Yep.
When I was actively selling, I went inside and gave my business card and my credit card when I bought gas.
That's right.
So as an entrepreneur, regardless of whatever business you're in, everyone, not some, need to know what you do. And that's a really good way to build your brand, build your reputation, but also understand that you are out there to serve and give and impact and also grow your business, which is really cool. Switching gears, what do you do for fun? What's fun?
Fun for me is golf, vacationing.
Golf is probably the biggest.
I do like to golf. Like to golf, but it's been kind of a hibernation period here with these cold last few weeks of cold. It's been a while.
It is interesting. Guys, I had recreationally played golf as light as I could say it. Had no idea what I was doing. And I was doing another hobby, and all of a sudden James was like, dude, you should come out golfing. And I was like, I ain't going golfing, dude. It's 5 hours. It's going to cost a lot of money. I'm going to be frustrated. I don't want to do this. And I don't have 5 hours to blow. And he's like, just come out. And so I come out. He's like, no, don't do this. Hold the club this way. No. You're turning too much. Open your hips. I felt like a robot. I was like, Didn't. At the end of it, I was like, okay, that's kind of cool. And now I'm into golf.
You did get a little bit of the bug.
I did get. Yeah. So in 17 months, I looked at the other day, we've played 129 rounds, at least on my tracker. Mm-hmm. Some were 6 holes, some were 18, but that's a lot of golf. And you play a lot.
Some were 2 hours, some were 6 hours.
Some were 2 hours, some were 6. Yeah. But I think what I love about you is whatever you do, you go all in.
I do.
And I think whether it's whether you're a big sports fanatic, or whether you want to eat at a good place, or whether you're golfing, or whether you go on vacation, or you go on trips, or whether you're serving a client, you're all in. It's not like you're distracted, you are focused. And I think one thing that makes James Walker, And one thing that we all can take away from James is that as an entrepreneur or as we're running our business or even if we're working for someone else, you got to be all in on whatever you do.
You do.
And you got to go and give it everything that you got. And sometimes they'll burn out. Like back in the heyday, were you working like COVID time? Were you working 10, 15 hours a day?
More.
20 hours a day?
Sometimes.
Crazy. But you know what? You were like, I need sleep. I need whatever. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to serve the clients I need to serve.
Well, and they were relying on me to come through. So some people might say, how did you work 18 hours? Well, I had to.
Don't have a choice.
I had to, yeah. So that's just how it was. That was a tough period of time. But, you know, there was also that time in, you know, 2008 and 2009 where that was a real crazy period too.
Yes,
and you know what? We got through it. Most of us did. I guess, you know, at that point there was a little bit less realtors and less loan officers in the game when we came out of it. But, you know, it goes to show you that, you know, there's nothing, you can't take anything for granted. And
that's a good point.
Whether it's your business, whether it's your personal life, whether it's your customers, whether it's your partners, you just can't take anything for granted. Not in this industry.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And I think that's the other thing. A lot of people want to become a mortgage lender or a realtor because they see the potential and there is high reward. There's also no cap on the ceiling. There's no floor either. Like you could go the other way too.
Yep,
so like
you could go in the negative.
You could definitely go in the negative for sure. And so like I think one thing that's just been so impressive of you, James, and why I've always loved you and respected you and how you do your business, you're responsive, you treat your business like a business, and you're very considerate. Like I think if anything, you have a lot of people that are very transactional. And you've learned how, and you in your whole life have been very relational. And I think people are attracted to that. That's like your magnet. And I think whatever business you're in, make sure you attract and you basically become the magnet. And whether you're trying to help someone serve and you're serving your product or service with your business, or if it's someone helping someone else in their business, there is something about it where I have this philosophy. You give it out in slices, it will come back in bakeries. Some people would say you give it down slices, you come back in loaves. And so the whole thing with Zig Ziglar, he always talked about help enough other people get what they want, you'll get everything you want. That you embody that, Jay, and it's something I am so appreciative of.
Thank you.
As we wrap up, what would be something that is important? Like how can people reach you? How can people get a hold of you?
They can always go to loanwithjames.com. That's a good place to get to me and connect with me and chat with me. You know, I'm available 24/7. When I say I want to serve my client, that's part of it. And it's not just being available, being responsive, but it's also some of the things that you touched on is that you got to go a little deeper. You can't just take it for granted and, hey, I do this every day and everybody should know what I'm talking about.
That's right.
Give people something.
That's right.
And when I say that, you know, it's tangible, even if it's information, is give them something. And that will probably separate you in your business. And having that connection and giving them something tangible, it's going to really help you and serve you to grow down the road.
Yeah, tangible. We usually give out cookies.
You do.
You give out a lot of information.
And you're known. You're known for your cookies.
Oh, we don't toss our cookies.
The cookie man.
Oh, it's all about the cookies. So guys, make sure you make sure you guys subscribe. But I'm super pumped. And you guys, more to come with James in the future. I'm so thankful. Thank you for being on the
Look forward
podcast.
to it. Thank you for having me.
James, you're awesome. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it.